where to begin here?
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff to begin with. So part of where we are right now is we are putting up the new site. We have that up. If you want to go to the .com, check it out, have a look, and jump around a little bit on it, and let us know what's working, what isn't, where we could use. I think we've been talking about this for a little while. So functionally, seeing that I think would is nice. I know it's nice for me to see it up and live. And what we're going to do to answer a lot of the questions, certainly that have been bouncing back and forth, is have microsites, and some of that is already up, like the AWB microsite is up. Of course, the AWRT is up. I believe the USHX is up now, and we'll have all of the tokens that we have that we've worked directly with put on their own microsite. We're also going to be doing, and hopefully the developer guys don't kill me if I say this wrong, but we're also going to have like landing pages and things that will get into more depth of the things like Amiga games and Metaverse. In having some sidebar conversations with some people, it has become apparent that maybe not everybody is clear on what those projects are and their significance to the club and things going forward. So for those of you who've had a chance to look at the AIM project, that will be kind of more the norm of how we're putting these things out now, so people get an idea. But if you haven't had a chance to look at that, that's the supercar project we've been talking about. We've secured that, so that's now in. It's going to be a NFT and metaverse project that we're going to work on in the club. That's being done very similar to how we are, or structured very similar to how we did the Amiga games deal and the performance. So,
yeah, well,
there's massive scope there.
Yeah, like, so just to clarify that, and I think from taking a look at who all's on this call, it's the usual guys who know, I think, exactly what it is that we're doing and what this club's about. And unfortunately, we get a lot of people that jump on and say, we want accountability and we want to know what the management's doing and what's the progress, and where I don't even know what's happening, and quite frankly, that's just a pile of crap, and everybody from the very beginning here knew that this is a club where venture cap meets crypto lifestyle, and that means a couple different things, but for the most part, the clear and most obvious thing that we've made, just the underpinning of everything that we do is that, look, we invest in a lot of different projects. So sometimes that's going to be a metaverse project. Sometimes that's going to be a merger and acquisition, and sometimes that's real estate backed and so forth. And all those things will have tokenization tied into it, tokens that are a utility, and that will be an exit strategy in some cases for the club, and in other cases it'll be a long-term utility that that is more about the underlying business. So above and beyond everything that we do, we're developing core underlying businesses, right? So not worrying about when pump, or nonsense, right? So unfortunately, I think we have, like, we're coming out of a project that didn't have an underlying business at all. It just existed in in a crypto environment or something, and that's where a lot of people have come from, and so they're used to, like, this, when's the next exchange and who's pumping this, and this guy was a rapper and whatever, but when we do a deal, like, for example, with GiveBucks, it starts out with an investment, and that investment comes in through one of the legs of our kind of native token structure, Essentially those contracts inure to the benefit of the holders of funding OTC or the FOTC coin. And those are structured contracts with existing C corps, that have real world, economic returns and consequences for non-payment and so forth. These are actual transactions, and that's why we're able to pay, high rewards and so forth, for certain tokens. And then as we go through, once we've identified those transactions and we've taken a position, we structure for the club and for the benefit of everybody on this call, um, the future. You would call it tokenomics. We call it. We structure um, the way that you'll be able to participate in the long-term growth of that business, right? And that involves creating a utility token that can be used in a new crypto-based environment, for those companies like GiveBucks, for example, with GiveBucks R, and being able to eventually swap that into its merchant services platform and charitable giving platform. Um, you know, so we secure those positions with the bridge. That helps the FOTC, folks and the staking folks, moving forward. And then we structure for the rest of the club, the people holding AWB, the utility token that's incubated along with the business, right? So we're not just taking that utility token through the stages. Everybody knows what the stages are, right? We've all talked about it, especially all the people who, claim to not understand what's happening. They have all been here from the very beginning. And the reality is that we all know that AWB is a dividend reward platform. And the way that that works is we have the utility token that's structured. It comes in a friends and family offering where people buy it at a discount. It's incubated up through upward, it's incubated through onward, and then it's released, right? We moved AWRT forward, right? So that's actually in the Uniswap, kind of incubation phase here, pre-release onto centralized exchange. But simultaneously, all of these things are, incubating not just those tokens, right? So, for the promotional side of, an advertising and marketing, but to the core business. On the AWRT side, that's the metaverse, that's the gaming, and some of those other utilities. On GiveBuck side, that's the actual core merchant services platform and app, that has the connectivity to 100+ national retail outlets. And on the other businesses, that we're involved with, they're also being incubated not just for the token launch, which is where we diverge from everybody else in this space, right? Everybody else in this space, they might do an ICO, or they might do a raise, or they do, and then they roll that into a pump. But what follows a pump, right? I mean, you can raise your hand. Yeah, the reality is after the pump, there's a dump, and that's just the way that it works. There and you can go out there and you can get tech rate, or you can get all of the promises in the world. But the reality is, if somebody's pumping nothing, the end of that is nothing. The end of the road is going to be, it's going to wind up trading right back where it started, and people are going to be left holding the bag. But in our project, that's not the case. Like, take for example the bridge that we just did, like Bo mentioned, the AMI, right? Art in Motion, with the Ferrari platform, the NFT platform that we're participating in. One, it has a return that's tied to the FOTC holders. It has a distribution that's going to be tied to the AWB holders. And at the end of the day, there's an actual functional Ferrari that's created, out of the prototype, and a museum in Las Vegas. That's that platform. That's what we're building.
Well,
There is
also
no
there's a
dump.
massive metaverse play in there as well, and utility for the NFTs. I mean, there's a million different things in that
Well,
that isn't just a
You
one
can
trick
go, you can go right down the road with this. HQ Express, the distribution in HQ Express, 250,000 square foot industrial flex space that's geolocated using overland, mixed reality, AR, VR, and physical locations inside the building. You know, this is a place you can come in Pennsylvania and come see it, come meet us, come do that, you know. Everything else that these people are talking about in use and, whatever, Sheba dot whatever, all the nonsense. They don't have that. That is not what they have. The only thing that they have is the pump. And so the only thing you're left with is the dump. And what we're building is a fund. What we're building is venture capital meets crypto lifestyle, right? And I keep trying to get that through to everybody, that there's underlying businesses that are simultaneously being developed at the same time that we're developing these token projects, so that the token projects themselves have an underlying asset value and an underlying balance sheet that promotes them, not for the next 12 months, but for the next 12 years. By the time we're done with this, everything in our portfolio is going to have value. There is not going to be somebody left holding some kind of bag, somewhere, which is what all these other projects are doing. And unfortunately, the regulatory environment hasn't caught up with, the crypto, space, to a degree. So, like, what's not allowed in the stock market is just being like overlooked inside the crypto market, and it's slowly you're seeing like these stars and these promoters and these people who think that they, are looking at charts and understand, how this thing should trade. They're not looking at fundamentals, because there are no fundamentals. At the end of the day, unless you're involved in a project that has a real location, real management team, and a real balance sheet, and an actual business model where they actually make money other than selling their tokens, then forget it. Forget it. You can enjoy it like you would a weekend in Vegas, or enjoy it like you would in Atlantic City, but don't look at it as anything more than that. What we're building here, part of the crypto lifestyle, is a way for you to participate in the long-term value of what crypto is capable of augmenting. And that's real business. And so when we go out and we do a deal, like, for example, you'll see Leonardian, where we see synergy, the ability to finish and complete a DApp that's almost done, roll out a new token, at the same time, for our club members and for the people who are legitimately loyal, holders of AWB and AWRT. Those people are going to benefit from these types of M&A transactions, and these transactions where we're going to fix projects that just didn't have the capital to get it completed. So,
or they were before their time. I mean, some of the stuff that Leonardian was trying to do was just a couple of years too early. Now the market's caught up with where their vision was, and now it's a very viable project.
Absolutely. So all I'm saying is that, we have to understand and get comfortable with the roots of what the club's about. And that is that we're developing and building underlying businesses. That's the core. It's VC. It starts with a bridge. The bridge is what gets us into the overall financial structure. And the financial structuring, the actual funding of these projects, is part of that incubation stage. And then, simultaneously there's the crypto launch and the utility tokens and the NFTs, right? So you get to have the benefit of those crypto deals, but at the same time, you get the immeasurable benefit of having an underlying asset value, that is going to continue to have viability in the market, because we're not picking projects that aren't viable, right? At the end of the day, like, even just the AMI deal, the first project is the Ferrari, Bizzarini prototype. That's a $3 million build with a $25 million back end. You can't go wrong. It's a great project, regardless of the museum. You add to that Leonardian, and the ability to bring in outside talent through blockchain based marketplace to build NFTs. around all those cars, and and all the people we already have on staff, capable of building metaverse, museums and pictures, and just the talent that's now kind of aggregating around this club. And you're going to have something that's really amazing. You're going to have something that that nobody else has. It's a connectivity, and it's a growth potential that it's just going to be fire, right? So anyway, I don't want to, I'm not going to get on a soapbox. That's about what I'm going to say. But one of the things we said from the very beginning is, if you don't get that, then you just don't get that, right? Then the club's not for you. And that's why we made the exchange. And I get it, there's there's intermittent liquidity and so forth, but I've got news for you: hundreds of thousands of dollars have already traded from AWB. So exit. That's your strategy. Not whining and and trying to I don't know, strong arm or talk people into getting into other projects or whatever the story is.
Well, look, at the same time, I mean, some people have voiced some things that are just about, hey, look, on the accountability side, we want to be there, we want to have these things, and that's the point of reporting these other things. But the opposite, I mean, what you just said is bang on true. I mean, and from the beginning is, hey, look, that's what this club is. 3-4 months is a long-term holding period, maybe in crypto. From jump, it's been, this is not a pump and dump. That's not what this is. So anyway, but you said you didn't want to get on your soapbox, but I think you sounded like you had momentum there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it has nothing to do with momentum. It just has to do with reminding everybody what everything's about. And I think everybody on this call already knows it. And I think everybody who talks to us on a daily basis already knows it. I hope that the people who pretend that they don't know listen to this recording later and, I don't know, refresh their memory as to what everything's about here. We're not about trying to pump out AWRT so people can get a quick flip and, do whatever. We are about building real value, and it will come. It will come. I mean, because it's we're watching the metaverse build outs. We're watching what's happening for the underlying utility of AWRT, and there's real utility. It's not something that we have to reach for. It's not something we have to hope for. So anyway, that's that. I mean, the reality is there's some core assets here, inside the club that are important for you. I keep saying again and again, buy scrap, because right now the flip side of that is we're in an economic environment with massive inflation. We're going to have supply chain problems. We've got issues coming, and I couldn't be any clearer on every single call that I get on. Scrap actually is able to convert into refined gold and precious metals, and you need that. So you should own it. It should be part of what you're doing. And ultimately, I think what we're going to do is we're going to make it a whole lot easier for people who maybe kind of feel like they've gotten in one token or another that they wish that they could be in a different one. We're going to make it a little easier for you to do that, because people have said, well, if I would have known this in the beginning, then I would have swapped, or I would have done something else. So we are going to, for the people who are loyal, that means like not hitting bids, and we know who everybody is, by the way. So that's the beauty of blockchain, right? So at the end of the day, there are no secrets. But the people who are loyal, who are actually helping us, who are here, for us long term, we will facilitate swaps and so forth, and we'll explain how that's going to happen, and we'll announce it, because I want you to be in what you're comfortable in moving forward. So anyway, so that's that. We can move on to some other updates, I guess. We did, like Bo said, we've got the .com finally pointing to the right direction and so forth. So .net, .com, facelift for the club. That means we're going to start to get a whole lot more aggressive on our marketing campaigns. You can see with this acquisition of Leonardian and, kind of picking up the torch where they dropped it back in 2018. We're now picking up how many social media followers, Bo, and how many holders?
Yeah, I think there's 1,600 total holders. There's about I'd say 9,500 followers on Facebook, YouTube, and there's like 7,500, 8,000 give or take on Twitter, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. Kind of down the line, a bunch of stuff. The thing that I like about the Leonardian is this was pre like meme coin, right? So I mean, when you really go through and look at that white paper and the things that they were doing the real, what I call the real work. It certainly wasn't anything about pumping and blowing out tokens. It was about really creating a solution to a real world problem, connecting dots, service providers with people in need. And I mean, look, that fits right into the wheelhouse of what we know how to do and what we're good at. So adding that suite of tools, and it's not just a suite of tools; it's actually a suite of people as well. Which, Alfonso, if you want to speak to that, because that's also part of the diversification strategy. Is this isn't just one or two devs trying to spin 1,800 plates here. The team that comes with Art in Motion. I mean, those guys are top tier. I mean, really the top of the top tier. Freeman, taught or brought Paul Newman into racing, and you can read his bio online and see what he's done in the racing community, and really big names, big brands, and again, speaking to it, it's not a pump, but we are in big markets, right? I mean, if you look at the gaming market was 174 billion last year. They're expecting it to go to 300 something billion by 2027. That's a massive market, So Amiga and how Amiga allows us to capture large parts of that market. I mean, all of these things are done on purpose. It isn't just random assortment of targets and acquisitions, and how we're partnering with them and leveraging the that relationship to be able to bring things through NFT, and tokenization and on all that going forward. Is I think it's going to be it's going to offer a huge boost. Now, again, being fair, fair is fair. We did have a bunch of delays. At the end of the year, we were supposed to have the
what
exchange.
Let me tell you something. We've built more in the last few months than any of these people will ever build. Like, so at the end of the day, every other project that's out there, I'm telling you, like from a fundamental balance sheet perspective, boots on the ground, asset value, this is the place to be. And I don't see anyone else doing this. I see a lot of people talking about it, and I see a lot of people dancing around venture capital, in this space, and they, calling it DeFi and whatever, but the reality is this is actual venture capital work. Inside of FOTC, you're able to take advantage of high returns, by staking the FOTC. And that's because of the way that we do the bridge loans into these transactions, like AIM. Right. That's, Art in Motion is a perfect example of a situation where we're the lead on the crypto side. We're the lead on the NFT side. There's a massive upside in the funding structure. And each one of these deals is about the funding structure. Each one of these deals is about the bridge, the funding structure, then the token utility. And the token utility is built around an actual business. And that's where we diverge from the rest of the pack.
That's selling $3 million builds for $25 million. That's the business, right? That's a good business.
That's the business. Having a physical museum that you can go into in Vegas, that's the business.
Yeah.
Right. And we've said this from the very beginning, combining, the real world financial institutions with this DeFi play, right? That's the opportunity. That's the business. And
listen, I mean, I don't want to overlook the other side of the metaverse business either. A bunch of gamer kids playing with a with a one of a kind car, and minting that the right way and building the community, so people are excited for that drop. And I know what people will do ultimately, turn them into rat cars and other things that will just people will go into it on the metaverse side of it. But again, that creates a lot of buzz and a lot of interest, right? I mean, these are all big
that's
community.
where Leonardian comes in, and that's why it's such a perfect pickup, because that's the marketplace. Like what they didn't have in 2018 is the connectivity with this explosive NFT marketplace, where now designers and creators and artists can now connect with the people who want to pay them to do that work. Whether that's us, because we're developing the metaverse, and we need graphic designers and we need developers and game coders to actually step up and help, or whether that's other companies in our space and so forth. Even just take a look at the performance, where we're the NFT producer, the credited NFT producer, the first one, right? So for that movie, and we've got others to follow with bigger movie houses. It's at the end of the day, the Leonardian platform, it was just ahead of its time. Now it can connect all of the stuff that these guys want very badly. They want you to be able to walk into the theater lobby and be able to see Jeremy Piven tap dancing, but pick up your phone and look at him in the corner. That's now possible. And the people who can do that work can connect with the people who want to pay for that work right through the Leonardian platform, totally on a blockchain basis, totally on a DApp basis. And that's what's beautiful about that transaction. And at the end of the day, there's already 40,000 registered users on that platform. So the database that comes with this transaction is massive.
Yeah, 40,000 users and 1,600 token holders. So again, I mean, it's it's growth by multiplication here.
Yeah. Yep. No question about it. No question about it. So, all right. Do we have particular questions then, Bo, that you wanted to get into too? Or, I mean, I know we're talking about the .com. We're talking about some of the other stuff that's out there. What about some questions?
Hang on a second. Right. Well, same one. So Tech Rate, CoinGecko, MRX.
So, Tech Rate, we actually paid an expedited fee of some sort. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that or not, but so we should see some updates here, hopefully shortly. Yeah, I don't know what it is they do, but they've got the new contract info. Our wallets should be showing up on Etherscan from our exchange, from our AWC exchange here very shortly. And when you see that, Tech Rate will quickly follow, and so will CoinGecko and everything else. And also our numbers, of course, on Etherscan are going to jump, pretty significantly. The other interesting thing is the Leon token. They've got 1,600 holders now, and we plan to go live with that token on our own exchange Sunday to Monday. So, Sunday night, you'll see it on our exchange on Monday morning.
Any update on reflections on the exchange?
Yeah, when you see those exchange wallets show up on Etherscan, that's when the reflections will start to happen.
Gotcha. I think on the counter too, I mean, this is important for people. I think we're still looking for people to get that second contract, for AWRT. So I think that
Well, you
will,
can see that new
that'll be,
.com.
well,
I think
that'll
we
be,
have.
yeah, that's on the new.com. So all you have to do is click a link in order to take care of that. And then that issue's solved, self-solves. Hang on a second. We got something coming in. All right. Looks like that. All right. Okay. Yes. So yeah, we've talked about that before. The makeup of the reflections of things that haven't come out to date. Um, there's a look back on all of that.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah. Yep. There's a look back on all that, and again, there's also um, loyalty rewards coming, as well. There's a bunch of different ways that we're going to really incentivize your long-term outlook, and part of that is by being able to put you into a strong position with these the new Leon projects and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out that and that you guys will. I think everybody will be happy. That they are loyal members that are rowing in the same direction.
Well, too, I think it's important. Maybe we should talk about the vision for Leonardian, on top of doing the B2B services that it does, is to be sort of the token that I say most resembles AWB, but in the NFT space, right? And that the direction how it's all going.
Yeah, that's possible too, and that's kind of the thought process. But we'll have some roundtables, and we'll talk with some of the top holders. We'll get back to you on exactly what that structure might look like moving forward.
All right. I don't see. I don't see anything else coming in at the moment. So what? All right. So we have the new .com is up. So please go on there, take a look, poke around, see what's what. Like I said, over the next little bit of time, we'll start to see either microsites or landing pages up for the work that we're doing in the metaverse and Amiga game space. We're going to start aggressively pushing on both the land sales because we've gotten the grid worked out. I mean, one of the things that we haven't talked about is one of the guys that we have working in our metaverse project actually is in Ukraine and had to flee the Ukraine yesterday to get to Poland. And the normal 2-hour drive took him 27 hours.
But you did hear that he did get to Poland.
He did get there and he's alive. Yeah, so that's
Thank
good.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
no, really. I mean, again, to think about that is something else entirely. To just be, anyway, I don't want to go down that path. So we'll have more of a push going on there. Like I said, we'll get into more of the details and what that means and community building and how the games and all of that tie into a real serious business that we're putting together in the metaverse. It's not just for fun and games. I mean, there's a lot of connectivity there that we are looking forward to getting everybody connected on, including these types of calls in the future.
No question.
Because then we could have an avatar soapbox.
Yep.
We could just step up on.
Yep.
What else is there? All right. So we saw the
I think that was a dig. I think you were just digging. I think that was a dig at me.
It was an eye poke. Yeah, it's an eye poke.
Something about soapbox or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you ever see Get Him to the Greek? I had this conversation with Jimmy earlier. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Sergio's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I got 21 Cougaroos. This meeting's for y'all. This meeting's for y'all. I want to help you in the crypto lifestyle space. I mean it. And buy scrap. This is all I'm trying to say, in this call.
Well,
buy scrap, trust the venture cap side, but buy scrap.
Well, no, but again, I mean, that's what I was getting into. So we've got Leonardian. We covered that. We covered art and motion. We covered, kind of the updates on the metaverse and the other space. But we also are going to have the new scrap site up here momentarily as well. If it's not already, I think they're doing what? They're just testing pricing and some of that stuff, Alfonso?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So once that's up, then, again, we're going to have a kind of a new polished look and feel and and that's buying actual gold, silver, platinum, palladium, which typically when you're on the brink of a world war, those things will start screaming. So
So
that's not.
to clarify, the way that we changed it, because everybody wanted to be able to buy in cheaper and still have the connectivity to the precious metal, is that dollar for dollar, you're able to take the scrap token and acquire the refined metals. So on one hand, we have the refining company. We have refiningcompany.com that's launching. We have the old refining company, therefiningcompany.com, which is the kind of the stodgy old site that we acquired. But that thing is an organic gold mine. That's the reason that looks so old, is because we don't want to touch it, because it just spits out organic traffic like it's insane. So um so that's where this product comes from, that gets refined. But then, on the actual refining side, then you're actually able to, on one hand, that scrap tokens, the dollars are used to acquire that material, refine it, process it, and then those metals are actually what you're able to convert into. So that's why the holding period and so forth, I think it's 90, some are 90 and some are 180 days or whatever. But that's the process, by which, product comes in, gets sorted, gets processed, and turns to metal. So, at the end of the day, though, every one of those tokens it recycles. So thousands of pounds of material being recycled, and then two, it converts into, or you can use it. The way that we're going to structure it is you can use it instead to just buy right out of the store the refined metal, right? So you say, okay, I've held this for 90 days. Now I'm spending it, on gold, or I'm going to spend it all on silver, or I'm going to spend it on a mix. So, in that way, one, we don't have that limit of the $460 tokens, that was going to be the structure. And it does the exact same thing. It just gives you more flexibility, and it allows allows those tokens to, kind of trade more freely. There's a whole lot more of them, so we can use it, in the ecosystem, and kind of the recycling ecosystem, where there's 3,000 plus, small electronic recyclers, for example, across the United States. We could use those tokens as placeholders for trade, back and forth, and payouts. So there's a lot that we can do on the utility side. But for you and for everybody listening, again, we are heading into a massively inflationary environment, with, again, supply chain issues and everything else. And, this is a tool that we use. So I think you should too. That's the reality of it. So, but that's, I'll get off my soapbox. So anything else?
Um, okay, so that site is going to be up here, if it's not already. I think you actually can go on there and poke around a little bit on it. But that got completed this week. What else am I missing? I know that there's something. Um,
People wanted some promotional stuff. We've got a bunch of new tech that we bought, in the NFT space. We've got a mystery box tech, where people are going to be able to choose $100, $250, $500 box, where they could either get an NFT worth that, or get tokens or something, that might be significantly more valuable. So
that's a
that's
good
a pretty
question.
cool piece of
Good,
tech.
good question just came in. All right, so the color difference in the members only, that they were released in a specific color order and number order, and I know at one point we had talked about weighing more heavily towards people who bought in early. Are you going to speak to that tonight, or?
Well, first of all, those members only NFTs will get you entered into the raffle. If you want to call it a raffle, I guess you're not allowed to say raffle ever. But I guess it'll get you. You'll be able to potentially a trip to Miami, where we'll fly you down to the conference that we'll be at in April, beginning of April. It's April 1st and 2nd. I think we fly in on the 31st or something. And I think we have 1,000 square foot room at the Kimpton Epic that you'll stay in. It's a trip for two. You get two gold passes with NFT pass. The passes for the yacht party. Some type of opening day Marlins game or something. But of course, you get to go in and listen to everybody talk. There's going to be a ton of different speakers. You'll be able to see a whole lot of different stuff, and you'll be able to meet with us and have dinner if you like. With us, and we can talk a bit about. Hopefully, I won't have a soapbox or whatever. I'll be a little friendlier. Um, anyway, but
Yeah.
it's a trip that I think you'd want to win. As far as the numbers go,
But the question was
yeah,
the difference in the colors. Although all of that was true, the
yeah,
question was fairly simple.
yeah. So you can essentially the winner is going to be chosen out of those numbers, and you can enter as many times as you want up to the total 500. And later, not included in this particular, that's going to be random. But later on, those members only badges, essentially, that you have by number, will give you weight on white lists and other minting releases from different artists and different projects that we're going to be participating in. So you do want the early ones; they'll hold slightly more weight, but you'll always be able to combine them. So numbers held are important too. When we do things like other metaverse projects, if you do stuff like inside of just take Neo Tokyo for example, I guess is a good example. Depending on what you're holding in your wallet, gives you access to different levels of participation in early minting, and it also gives you access to participation in different private conversations and research projects and things like that. So this is going to be a lot the same way. Early access to different projects and early minting and assets that you'll be able to pick up at discounts. And the concept here, going back to the crypto lifestyle side of things, is you can get some of those, and maybe you want to hold one long and sell three. The idea is to put you in a position to be able to do that. So we think that with these members only ranked badges, where you're participating with us early and things like this conference and stuff like that, that those things should hold weight moving forward. So the more of that stuff that you own, the more weighted your participation is going to be, and the more beneficial it's going to be to you as we move forward with new releases. And we're working with some pretty incredible artists right now. By the way, just a quick heads up. So you're going to want some of that just for art value, just for just for the media value of it alone. So.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about Miami. I think that's it. I mean, there's some chatter going on. Oh, on the Saitama giveaway, this does count too towards these members only and NFTs and things that we have going on in that space. On the referral side, it does count towards the trillion Saitama. So
Exactly. I think right now, I want to say that the person in the lead has the initials CS. That's what I want to say. So CS is in the lead, whoever that is.
yeah.
So I mean, there's still time, to get out there and of course your own purchases count as well. So get involved and let's see what we can do.
Oh, also, I'm going to do a little bit of bragging here in this section on some of the artwork. Speaking of, I throw this into the questions. This is something that one of our graphic artists did, and this is going to be the backdrop at the show. So the Lambo will will be there. So we're doing the Lambo on the moon with the Earth and the coins and all that stuff flying over top of it. So
Yeah, with the actual Lambo is going to be there too. Right?
yeah, but that one will be on Earth.
Yeah.
Where can we store
Our,
NFT? Do we need to send it to a Coinbase wallet?
what's the question?
Where can we store the NFT? Do they need to send it to the Coinbase wallet? It's okay. So
I think,
Blackthorn, Coinbase, and MetaMask work. I think is what the answer to that is right now.
yeah, well, I think MetaMask right now, and part of the build that. So remember, we're adding 4 new features to the NFT exchange. One of that's connectivity with Polygon and things of that nature. And we
Well,
have
well, hang on. In order to get into the store, in order to get into the NFT exchange, you have to connect your MetaMask wallet. So my
yeah,
guess is, Chad, that's going to default there. Um,
correct.
so unless you send it someplace else.
Correct. And then you're going to be able to put your collection, on, basically on display, and stuff will have different opportunities as the NFT develops, the NFT exchange develops. So that's looking like it'll be complete, first week of March. So.
Um, you
But
just
now it's functional. I mean, all we're doing there is adding some connectivity to
yeah.
OpenSea and connectivity to Polygon.
Yeah, and we're working on the little things, the emoticons and all that stuff that's on there that that is the way that it came over. So, but we'll do a little bit of a facelift on the backside of that as well. So oxymoron, excellent.
Speak
Um,
English.
uh,
Yeah.
a facelift on the backside. Yeah. That was a good one even for me.
Mhm.
All right, so
We might as well close it.
on the back end is what I mean. That's what we're always working in the back end, right? Okay,
All right.
so that's it.
All right.
Uh,
I think that's about it. I don't have anything else.
yeah, charity. We worked with one of the members, actually two of the members this week. We spoke with about different charity projects. Well, we should see some of that stuff coming out soon. One of which I've got to follow back up with, but the other one is onboarding with Ken at GiveBucks right now. And I will say, that is that's a project that we haven't spent a lot of time on these discords talking about, but we'll spend more time on that, and getting your charity signed up and getting working that side of the market is just it's just the right place to be, and for a lot of ways, merchant processing, and all that, I think is will be the next thing that goes the way of the dodo. So we're current merchant processing systems. So
Yep. And I think there's a lot of growth that's going to be happening at GiveBucks here over the next couple of weeks. I think a lot of the financial structuring and so forth is wrapping, so you're going to see a lot of growth potential there. So
yeah, all right. Well, I think that at that point we're going to call it. All right, everybody.
have a good
Have,
one.
have a great weekend. All information presented on this AMA, technical or otherwise, is subject to change with or without notice at any time. The information is meant to outline general plans and answer questions being asked in real time. As such, the information should not be relied on as the basis for token purchases.